The Architecture of the Sovereign Self. A Manifesto for the Silent Ascent. Introduction. The quiet that changes everything. Success is not loud. It is not the applause of strangers, the desperate vibration of a notification, or the performative noise of victory. In a world addicted to expression, the most radical act is to be still. Success is silence. Not the silence of the defeated, the weak, or the fearful. This is the silence of command. It is the moment you realize that your mind is no longer public property. The moment you stop needing to prove your worth to people you don't even respect. The moment you stop reacting and start architecting. This is the silent revolution, and it happens in the dark, behind closed doors, and within the deep recesses of the spirit. Before you can command a team, a company, or a movement, you must become the sovereign of your own skin. Pillar I. The internal citadel, the Aurelian strategy. In the 2nd century, while the Roman Empire was ravaged by the Antonine Plague and Germanic tribes hammered at the borders, Marcus Aurelius sat in a tent and wrote. He was the most powerful man on the planet, yet he spent his nights trying to conquer the only territory that truly mattered, his own impulses. In Meditations, he carved out a truth that remains the ultimate weapon of the modern elite. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Most people are not defeated by reality. They are defeated by their commentary on reality. An insult is just noise until you interpret it as an attack. A setback is just a data point until you interpret it as a failure. The sovereign self practices objective representation. You strip the event of its emotional clothing. You see the world as it is, not as your ego fears it to be. By remaining silent, you refuse to give an event a handle for others to pull. In the world of power, what you reveal determines how you are controlled. When you react, you expose your triggers. You show your enemy exactly where the fence is thin. But when you are silent and composed, you become an enigma. And an enigma cannot be manipulated. Pillar 2. The discipline of restraint, the Mandela Forge. For 27 years, Nelson Mandela lived in a cell on Robben Island. To the South African government, he was a prisoner. To the world, he was a symbol. But to himself, he was an architect. While others around him grew bitter, Mandela grew deep. He understood that time is a neutral force. It either grinds you into dust or polishes you into a diamond. He chose the latter. He didn't waste his energy shouting at guards who didn't care. He spent his energy studying the psychology of his captors. Mandela practiced the discipline of the hidden intention. He let his enemies underestimate him. He let them believe he was just a prisoner while he was busy becoming a statesman within the walls. Silence in hardship is not a surrender. It is a tactical withdrawal. It is the gathering of resources. When he finally stepped into the light of 1990, he was not a man driven by the heat of revenge, but a man guided by the cold precision of a master strategist. Your prison, whether it is debt, an entry-level job, or a period of isolation, is your laboratory. Be quiet. Observe. Prepare. Pillar 3. The courage to be misunderstood, the Socratic defiance. Socrates stood before an Athenian jury with his life on the line. He could have survived by simply adjusting his tone. He could have performed the humble apology the crowd expected. He refused. He understood that if you live for approval, you belong to the people who give it. Sovereignty demands divergence. To grow, you must leave the herd. And when you leave the herd will bark. They will demand explanations. They will demand that you justify your change. You do not win through argument. You win through position. Every time you explain yourself to someone who doesn't understand you, you hand them a piece of your power. The sovereign self knows that silence is often the ultimate form of defiance. Let them misunderstand. Let them judge. Your silence proves that their opinion is not a factor in your equation. Pillar 4. The strategy of controlled presence. The modern world tells you that more visibility equals more power. This is a trap for the amateur. Power does not come from constant exposure. It comes from contrast. If you are always speaking, your words lose their value. They become like currency during hyperinflation, abundant and worthless. But the person who speaks rarely, but with absolute precision, commands the room. Mystery is not deception, it is leverage. What people cannot fully map, they cannot easily conquer. By withholding, You force others to fill the silence with their own insecurities and guesses. You speak when it matters. You withhold when it doesn't. You treat your presence as a premium resource, not a common commodity. The doctrine, the 12 silences of the sovereign. Silence and anger delay the reaction. Emotion is a short-term chemical. Power is a long-term strategy. Silence and success. Let your lifestyle and results do the talking. Announcing your plans only invites the evil eye of envy and opposition. Silence and gossip. When you speak of others, you reveal your own level. Refuse to engage in low-frequency noise. Silence and observation. The quietest person in the room usually has the most data. Silence before action. Don't telegraph your moves. Strike before they even know the game has started. Silence under provocation. The first person to lose their cool loses the frame of the interaction. Silence and failure. Do not complain. Process the data in private. Fix the flaw and return with a better version. Silence as leverage. Use the uncomfortable pause in negotiations. Let the other person speak themselves into a corner. Silence and discipline. Your 5 a.m. workouts don't need a hashtag. Consistency is for you, not your followers. Silence against insults. To be offended is to acknowledge that the insulter has the power to hurt you. Indifference is the ultimate insult. Silence and injustice. Don't just scream at the system. Quietly build the alternative that makes the system obsolete. Silence and reflection. If you never sit in stillness, you are just a passenger in your own life. The psychological shift from reaction to choice. The average human is a machine of reaction, event emotion. Reaction. They are as predictable as a light switch. But the sovereign self introduces a firewall, event the silent pause choice. In that pause, you are no longer a victim of your biology. You are an observer. You watch the anger rise. You acknowledge it. And then you decide if that anger serves your objective. If it doesn't, you discard it. This creates a dangerously controlled individual, someone who cannot be baited, cannot be bought, and cannot be broken. Epilogue. The Ascent. The world will continue to celebrate the loud, the outraged, and the performative. Let them. Beneath the noise, a new elite is rising. They are the ones who have stopped talking and started building. They are the ones who have traded the likes of strangers for the respect of themselves. They aren't announcing their ascent. They are simply ascending. When they finally act, it appears sudden to the world. But it was never sudden. It was built in the hours of silence, in the years of restraint, and in this citadel of a mind that belongs to no one but themselves. Withdraw from the noise. Build your citadel. Become sovereign.